I almost, Katie, nixed one of your stories.
I almost didn't send you one of my stories.
I looked at it and I went, what the fuck?
Well, but that reaction is exactly why I sent it to you. So,
Right. Yeah, no, it's more that and I'll get to it when I do the story, but it's more that they didn't take note of something.
yes, I noticed that too. I don't,
I was like,
yeah.
wait a minute. I didn't test the soundboard tonight. We'll
Oh, no,
find
you
out.
did not.
We'll find out if it's working, I guess. Anyway, here we fucking go.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 196. NASA is now the solar system's biggest peeping Tom. Welcome to it. For those of you that join us for the live show. If not, well, fuck you. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Can't take the time. God damn you. You people. You people and your shit. Anyway, how was your Christmas, Katie?
Good. Nice and simple.
Yeah. Ours was quiet. We didn't have the kids. Just Odin's off with, his mom's side of the family. Her daughter was off with her father's side of the family. Just chilled out. Real nice and quiet. Everybody's like, you have a good Christmas? I'm like, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
Peaceful is always good.
Yeah, it worked out really well for me. And the new job is very so fucking stress free. Oh God, I couldn't ask for a better gig right now. Like I said, I'm not gonna mention where I work or exactly what I do, but oh dear God, is the stress gone from my fucking life?
You're a lucky guy.
I was just talking with somebody who still works where I used to work, and she was like, "It's like going into hell every day," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I left.
Right.
I couldn't fucking do it anymore."
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's rough being in that type of a customer service environment where you deal with the same people day in and day out. You deal with a lot of very decent people and very good people. But you also deal with some of the most abhorrent garbage that walks the face of the planet. And it's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have one without the other. And sometimes, unfortunately, the people that you really enjoy are also the pieces of garbage.
Right.
So, I mean, there's that too. But anyhow, we'll jump right into the fucking news tonight. I've got to work tonight. I'm actually hoping. Are you okay with doing the show on Monday nights from now on, Katie?
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Because Monday, I'm supposed to have Sundays and Mondays off, and I think next week I will have Sunday, Monday off. So I'm hoping that works.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So and like I said, I can switch it to 7 if that works out for you too.
Meh, this is fine.
Okay. Well, and I might have to anyway, just so you
Yeah, that's fine
know.
too. I'm a flexible gal.
So, anyway, yeah, we'll jump into the news. And we'll get this bad boy out of the way, so to speak. Out the gate. This is the one I almost nixed. And I was like, what the fuck?
It was a lot to take in.
So, Northwich woman jailed for cocaine-fueled sex with a dog. Now, I read over this, and I'm going to read it again now, but I'm pretty sure there's no mention of the fact that this is a trans woman.
No, not a single word.
Not a peep.
And they used the she pronoun throughout.
Right, which is fine. I mean, hey, that's
Yes,
fine.
that's the right move to make. But yeah,
But
they posted a picture with
it's
no.
It's definitely a trans woman.
Yeah,
Okay.
clearly.
All right. A woman has been jailed after she admitted having cocaine-fueled sex with a dog and possessing images of the disgusting incident. Now, again, where it is a trans woman, I'm curious what kind of package is going on, because that makes the act maybe a little more depraved to me.
Yes.
Maybe.
But I think when it
maybe it's
comes to
not.
actual,
Maybe I'm just being an asshole. But to me,
I think it's also, I mean, like, it sounds awful, but it's also kind of the obvious question,
like,
you
yeah,
know?
what took place?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, all right. I just
yeah.
wanted to make sure I wasn't being completely off my fucking rocker with that one.
No, it makes a big difference.
Okay. Claire Goodyear of Spencer Street in Northwich was described as manipulative and deceitful by a probation officer. Imagine that. Judge Stephen Everett called her behavior in taking part in the act with other adults as despicable, disgusting, and depraved, as he jailed her for 20 months. The 60-year-old has twice been convicted of possessing indecent images of children, back in 2006 and 2009, with the judge admitting she had been astonishingly lucky to avoid previous spells behind bars after receiving suspended sentences. Paulinus Barnes, prosecuting at Chester Crown Court on Wednesday, December 22nd, said the police had called to her home on July 19th, 2019, to carry out a routine check due to her being on the sex offenders register for life. Officers took a laptop which contained evidence Goodyear had searched the internet for bestiality content, and when a full analysis of the equipment was finally completed some 2 years later, it emerged hidden folders containing 31 indecent images of Goodyear taking part in a sex act with an Alsatian breed of dog. Mr. Barnes said she admitted possession of the images. She said she had fantasized about it for a number of years, and after talking about it with people in Northwich, was put in touch with others in Bournemouth. She traveled down there in December 2018 and took part in the sex act with other people and the Alsatian dog. With other people. At the time of her arrest on June 17th this year, police also found another pen drive in her handbag containing the same images and 3.5 grams of cocaine. When she committed the sex act between 15 and 16 December 2018, Goodyear had also been in breach of suspended sentence order, which had been imposed in May of that year for failing to adhere to terms of a sexual harm prevention order. Yeehaw. And just so you all can see what we're talking about here, no mention of the fact that this is a trans woman. There you go. I mean, I suppose it could be an actual.
I mean, I hate to admit, but I'm looking at the neck there for the good old Adam's apple.
Kind of rough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be very wrong, but that one looks, I don't know, looks rough to me. Anyway.
Yeah, but I noticed that too, that there was just no mention of it whatsoever. So, but maybe that's by design. Maybe they
Right.
wanted us to have that conversation.
And yeah, and like I said, I could be very wrong, but it looks very much like a trans woman to me.
Which either way, the crimes are disgusting. So
yeah, they're fucking horrible. This is gross. It's just gross. Anywho, I'll actually do the other story you sent me. Google. This one's from IndiaTimes.com. I forgot to mention where the other one was from. Google Earth user spots crashed UFO in Antarctica, claims it's proof of extraterrestrial existence. Is it? I mean, I don't know. They say a picture paints 1,000 words or some shit like that, but I don't know. Every now and then, mysterious and interesting things are been discovered. Wow. That's some good journalism. Are been discovered on Google Earth, and if you thought you had seen it all, then think again. A Google Earth user has claimed to have spotted a mysterious disc inside a heart-shaped break in the Antarctic ice. Scott C. Waring, who is a conspiracy theorist, claimed that he discovered this UFO disc using Google Earth. He also shared the coordinates 74 degrees. I don't know how to read that shit. Fucking, how do you read longitude and latitude?
Yeah, I'm not the one to answer that.
I fucking forget. I know it's like degrees and then I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's somewhere in which this disc can be found. I'll show you guys the picture after. The self-professed UFO specialist claims the object could be a crashed alien craft and that its impact caused damage to the ice. Waring said, "Guys, I found this today and it's just blowing my mind. It's in Antarctica and it's about 40 meters across, sitting in an area that looks like a heart. I think this is the big one, guys. The real deal. I imagine that soon after I release this video, some government somewhere will go and retrieve it. Wow. And it is in a heart-shaped break in the ice, which really makes me wonder, did they do that on purpose for the fun of it? Or did the disc cause the shape in the ice when it landed in this area? Sure, it is the perfect hiding place for an alien ship because no one will ever see it hidden out there in Antarctica. No one will ever wander past it or hike near it or even sail near it. 100% proof that aliens exist and are on Earth right now. So the treasure hunt begins. The winner gets all," he added. This is not the first time Waring has made claims about alien existence. A few years back, the conspiracy theorist, who operates from Taiwan, allegedly discovered a thigh bone-like structure on Mars. After the discovery, he had urged then U.S. President Donald Trump to make him the head of NASA. Huh. I mean, as you do. I found a thigh bone on Mars. It's obviously a thigh bone. I would like to be head of NASA. Been funny if Trump had come out and been like, "Hello, today, here to announce something huge." I'd have fucking loved it. However, skeptics dismissed Waring's claims and made it clear that most of his discoveries are classic cases of pareidolia, which, yeah, more than likely. But here, I'll show you all what it looks like on this fine little program. Dun, dun, dun. Share screen. Here you go. Share. That's what it looks like. I don't know. Just a big fucking circle to me. And I don't know that it shows anything.
I think the problem with this guy is the outright leap to 100% proof. Like, no, that is not 100% proof.
Maybe something else is happening.
Right. Like, there's so many other possibilities to explore before you jump to alien spacecraft.
Yeah, I don't immediately jump to alien spacecraft when I see that. When I
No,
see
me
that,
neither.
the first thing that pops into my mind is open water.
Right. And ice melt
Like,
and the way it
why?
melts.
Right. Why is there open water in this big black area in Antarctica? That's what I think right off the bat. I don't go, that looks like a UFO.
Right.
That looks like a flying saucer.
Especially as someone who admittedly knows nothing realistically about the Antarctic. Like, there's all sorts of things about the rate in which ice melts and, why is sometimes ice clear versus blue versus, you know what I mean? Like, who knows what could have made that thing? It could just be a chunk of ice that's a different color than the rest of the ice that has snow on top of it around
Or
it.
it could have been that Google Earth snapped that image at just the right time.
Right. There's 1,000 other things it could be besides the UFO.
Yeah, let's go to UFO.
Yeah.
I say
100%.
UFO. UFO. Right off the fucking bat. Let's go UFO. I mean, shit. It's where the thing took place, right? It's
I
where
mean, it'd be
Kurt Russell
cool.
burned that shit up. Yeah, of course it would be cool. Like, it would be cool if we found out something like that and everything was benevolent. Like, if we found out that there was aliens and they wanted to fuck us up, that wouldn't be too cool.
No, a good thing we found out.
Right? I mean, that's not a bad point.
Better late than never.
I'm not arguing with you on that one. All right, let's try this out. I'm gonna try to use my tablet here to do this shit tonight. Gotta turn down the volume though, because I don't know how these websites work on this motherfucker. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what we got here. From the terracestandard.com. UFO sighting. Did aliens recently visit White Rock? Skeptics suggest mysterious sighting was most likely a flock of birds. A mysterious unidentified flying object over this one's going to be a good one. Semiahmoo Bay has caught the attention and imagination of some White Rock residents. Matt Killback first reported seeing the unusual object to a White Rock Facebook group last week. Killback, who was asking if anyone else saw the anomalies that took place December 15th afternoon, reported seeing what he initially thought was a waterspout forming. In an interview with Peace Arch News, Killback said, the morphing object first looked like a plume of smoke or mist. Supersaturated, dark, low-hanging, free-moving cloud that looked like it was trying to touch down on the water to form a waterspout. Up above it, there were literally circle clouds, Killback said. As soon as it touched the water, it would start pulling up, and then it would collapse, and then it would disappear for a second, almost as if it would go into the water, and it would start reforming again in another spot. Killback said the object was about 2 to 5 kilometers out in the bay, but says he got a pretty decent look at it coming out of the water. It was forming like a sort of funnel-shaped sort of thing, and then it completely came out of the water, and it came probably a few hundred feet up, and then it came back down, and it totally submerged itself and formed, it looked like, a solid formation under the water. Then it started moving without making any splashes. It wasn't disturbing the water at all, but you could see clearly it was a round object that was submerged right under the surface of the water, and it was moving incredible speeds. Shannon Stewart, who also observed the unusual object, described it as really weird. And there was a dark shadow moving across the water, then it would disappear and reappear, moving in the other direction. This went on for a long time, Stewart told Pan. Pan? P-A-N. All capital letters. I don't know what that is, so. We used binoculars to look because we thought it was a whale in the bay or a flock of birds maybe, but we couldn't see any birds. But there was something at the tip of the shadow coming out of the water, like a seal or something. Asked if what Stewart observed could have been a submarine, she said no. It definitely wasn't a submarine. It didn't move like a submarine at all. Killback offered two theories, suggesting the object was related to U.S. Navy technology or it was extraterrestrial. It looked like either nanotech or it was ethereal, man. I'm telling you, I do believe that we can't be the only ones in this universe. You can't help but think, aliens, man, Killback said. Contacted by Pan, White Rock Sea Tours owner Andrew Newman, who has spent countless hours in the Semiahmoo Bay, weighed in on what the object could have been. Newman said when the atmospheric conditions are just right, objects in the water, such as a vessel, can appear distorted. It looks like a mirage, Newman said. Another theory, which Newman agrees is most likely, is that it could have been a flock of birds. I've seen that in the distance, and that is ridiculous too. That looks like a flying saucer, Newman said. Local photographer and birder Kate Payton pointed to Dunlin, small birds that flock in numbers up to 40,000. I can totally understand why some think it's alien or otherworldly, Payton wrote to Pan, but they're tiny little birds. Patton explained that the birds arrive over winter and move up and down the coast in great numbers before returning to the Arctic in the summer. As they turn and catch the light, they seem to disappear for a while, but then catch the light, black and then white, absolutely brilliant to watch, she wrote. Patton said the birds are about the size of a thumb. Their dance or mermation is usually a defense maneuver to evade peregrine falcons, Patton wrote. They flash and swoop and vanish and try to trick the falcon. Killback, however, isn't convinced. There's no chance it was birds. Not at all, man. I mean, to their defense, they did look at it through binoculars.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe they did get a better look at it than what these people think.
But they were still pretty
I don't
far
know.
away. I mean, binoculars are
Right.
amazing, but they still don't necessarily reveal everything. So,
Right. That's true. So, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting though. I mean, like
oh
I said,
yeah,
they claim to have had a better look at it than what these people are saying. So, and for the record, like the shit that's being seen by the military that the Pentagon has confirmed is real shit, real videos,
right.
has been these spherical things. So, I mean, they're basically saying the same type of shit.
Well, and in the context of birds, you do think of, birds diving into the water and corralling small, like krill and stuff, much like whales do. I've just
Mhm.
never pictured them doing it in such large numbers.
Well, those birds obviously do something to that effect
Right.
out there. I mean, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but
Well, yeah, it sounds like if they were going back and forth, I mean, that sounds like they were corralling a school of fish.
yeah, it's interesting.
So
But they
it's a
but they're really
possibility.
but they're really small birds, so who knows?
Right. That is weird. The size of their thumb. It's like a hummingbird.
Yeah, that's tiny.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. So get rid of that one, I think. I'll remove that one. Let's get rid of that one. All right, we'll do this one. From the intelligencer.com, reported brush with Bigfoot stirring interest. It was an encounter along Illinois 78 near Chandlerville that lasted just seconds, but it left a lasting impression on a driver going from Cass County to Tazewell County that night. When it hit the shoulder, it looked back at me, he said. I said to myself out loud, expletive-ing Bigfoot. I'm going to go with fucking on this one. I'm going to go with
Yeah.
fucking. I said to myself out loud, fucking Bigfoot. Even those who consider the idea of some supersized primate wandering through the woods to be hokum are finding their interest piqued. Witness Patrick Garver's report has drawn the attention of the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization and has been making the rounds on various social media sites, both pro and con Bigfoot existence. The legend of a huge creature lumbering through isolated wooded areas dates at least as far back as the Salish Indians. They told stories about encounters in the Pacific Northwest with Seskak. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. An ape-like man from 6 to 15 feet tall who walked upright, occasionally emitting a high-pitched noise. By the 1950s, the name Bigfoot was born as more sightings were reported and hunters ran across massive footprints that couldn't be explained. Of the 301 reports of sightings or Bigfoot-related phenomena in Illinois, Madison County leads the way with 24. Ooh, go Madison County. The latest was in August 2017 when a motorist reported seeing a creature crossing the road near Troy. Additional reports since 1972 have come from near Godfrey, outside Hamel, near Edwardsville, near Alton, west of St. Jacob, and near Granite City. Other reports from the area include 13 in Macoupin County, the most recent in November 2016 near Sunset Lake, west of Girard, as well as 2 each in Calhoun County and Jersey County. But let's get back to Cass County. Yeah, let's get back to the fucking story at hand. Garver was driving the stretch of road about 10:30 p.m., November 29th, heading north about 85 miles north of Alton. I saw a large animal jump into the road about 40 yards ahead. When it hit the road, I could see very large legs spread wide in a dead run with large, swinging, hairy arms. The arms switched back and forth close to the ground as its body was leaning forward. It leaped across the road in 2 jumps, he told investigators for the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, a scientific research group founded in 1995. Garver said it was about 2 seconds before the creature vanished into the darkness. I could see it clearly, he said. It was very large, and even though it was hunched over nearly horizontal, it still was close to being wider than my car and nearly to the top of my windshield. It blocked out the lights of a car ahead. He recalled it having shiny black hair and a huge stride. It was running and leaping very fast, he said, nearly as fast as a white-tailed deer. He continued driving until he reached Havana, where he stopped to send a text his wife and children about what he experienced. I'm going to say to his wife and children about what he experienced. Garva also shared the story of the encounter with a coworker. Instead of being incredulous, the coworker told of local tales of a clan of Bigfoot living in the area. And said there have been multiple sightings by hunters, fishermen, and barge operators. It was the first sighting report Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization investigator Matthew Moneymaker recalled from Cass County. Although unexplained tracks were found in a creek bed near Chandlerville in 1991, neighboring Sangamon County has generated 13 reported sightings since 1976, the most recent in September 2017 near Rochester. Moneymaker is founding director of the organization and has been involved with a number of documentaries about Sasquatch, as well as co-host of the program Finding Bigfoot. That appeared on Animal Planet channel for 7 years. This is a very reliable sighting, he said. I spoke extensively with the witness by phone. He was not particularly interested in the Bigfoot subject, but he recognized what he was seeing. There have been 4 encounters noted in Morgan County. A runner reported a sighting south of Jacksonville in August 2006. Sounds and a sighting were reported near Murrayville in July 2006. A motorist said he saw a Bigfoot near Lake Jacksonville in November 2005. And a resident in January 1986 recalled a previous possible sighting in a pasture east of Jacksonville. Interesting. I mean, I'm not going to say the guy's full of shit.
No, I didn't know there were that many sightings in Illinois.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. I take anything with a grain of salt when it comes to Bigfoot.
Well, yeah. It is intriguing, though, for a concentrated area
Do I
to
think
have
that
a
the guy saw
consistent
something?
history.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Right.
And like I said, I don't want to discount the guy's story based on the fact that I see tons of bullshit. He seems to have a credible sighting from what I can see, or from what I can read, I should say, because I can't see shit about it. But again, it's one of those things where how much of this did we really get? There's not much there. It's a
Right.
very brief sighting. There's no physical evidence. There's no pictures. There's just this eyewitness testimony, which we now know is, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's horseshit in a lot of cases.
Right.
Like, people fuck up a lot.
Well,
So
it caught my ear while you were reading it that he said that it blotted out the headlights of an oncoming car. So that makes me wonder, like, did that car see it? Did he try to flag that car down and be like, yo, dude, did you just see that? Like, that's a
right.
potential second witness to give credibility to a story.
Right, but at the same time, like, in that instant, would you try to do that? Like, I don't know if I'm on a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair.
Right.
If I'm gonna and that happens and I'm freaked out, if I'm gonna immediately think, fuck, I should go run that guy down or that
Well,
person.
I would
They're probably
say
gonna think I'm a freak.
location and how fast they were going, too, I think
Right.
would be, if they were going 35 miles an hour down a somewhat windy wooded road, I think it would be reasonable to roll down your window and flash your lights and put your hand out the window.
Right.
But
Hey,
yeah, if you're on a
did you see
55
something
mile an
too?
hour, right.
Yeah. Like that, I think that's completely situational. But
Yeah. It was a
yeah.
question that I thought of while you were reading that. I was like,
Yeah, that's a good question. I and like I said, I'm not gonna shit on the dude's story, because it could very well be a very credible sighting. I don't know. According to Jamie House, we're boring. So, according to me, that's a shitty picture of a dog in a fucking Santa outfit. So, go fuck yourself. I don't care. All right. Let's get to our next story of the night. From movieweb.com, Night of the Cooters trailer has Vincent D'Onofrio fighting aliens in the 1800s. George R.R. Martin produces and Vincent D'Onofrio directs the experimental sci-fi short film Night of the Cooters. Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin has unveiled the trailer for his upcoming sci-fi short film Night of the Cooters. Vincent D'Onofrio directs and stars in the film, which has been called a labor of love by Martin. Night of the Cooters is based on the eponymous. I fucking love how people use these weird fucking words sometimes. I've read a lot in my life. I've never come upon the word eponymous.
Do they mean autonomous?
No, it's EPONYMOUS. 1987 short story by Howard Waldrop. The film was announced back in August when Martin announced in his blog that principal photography had wrapped and visual effects work was set to begin. Night of the Cooters employs an inventive visual style, blending live action and animation to give the film a distinctive look. You can check out the trailer below. We're not gonna. The trailer opens with shots of a deserted town, soon revealing Vincent D'Onofrio as Sheriff Lindley. He teams up with his deputy and a couple of curious townsfolk to investigate a strange cylinder that's crash landed in their town. The discovery soon turns into a fight for survival as the people of Pachuco, Texas, defend their home against aliens. Night of the Cooters is written by Joe Lansdale, Bubba Hotep, and stars Hopper Penn, Harrison Page, Martin Sensmeyer, Kristen McCleary, Elias Gallegos, Lucy Rains, Jazzy Kim O'Brien, and Darius Etienne. Author Howard Waldrop is also part of the project and serves as a producer alongside George R.R. Martin. The Game of Thrones author has described Waldrop as one of his favorite science fiction writers and has always wanted to adapt his short story, Night of the Cooters. Night of the Cooters. Okay.
I'm just a child stuck on the word cooter, so
yeah,
sorry.
that was me. I mean, I don't know. It has an interesting visual style to it, but I don't know. Kind of like I guess like a Scanner Darkly. You probably have never seen that. That's
Nope.
that's so outside of your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I thought it was kind of interesting. Plus, it's a Night of the Cooters. So
Right.
From let's see if fucking this thing will fucking from the independent.co.uk. Alien life forms, unlike anything we've seen, could be hiding in the clouds of Venus, scientists suggest. The ammonia on Venus may be explained by something biological, making the clouds habitable, scientists suggest. Researchers believe that there could be potential life forms producing ammonia in the clouds of Venus that are very unlike anything we've seen. The colorless gas, a compound of nitrogen and hydrogen, could be indicative of chemical reactions that would make the planet 47.34 million kilometers from Earth more habitable to alien life. On our planet, ammonia is a common leftover waste from aquatic organisms. Its presence, excuse me, its presence in Venus's upper atmosphere has been puzzling astronomers since the 1970s, with scientists believing that it should not be produced by any known force on the world. Venus itself is so hot that it is inconceivable to have life forms, and if there is life in the clouds, it is likely to be microbes like Earth bacteria, albeit with a chemical composition unlike that we have seen on our planet or even neighboring planets like Mars. This is because life on Mars is more likely to be similar to that on Earth, and so scientists have a greater idea of what to expect. Venus, in contrast, is unlike any other planet in the solar system. In a new study, researchers from Cardiff University, MIT, and Cambridge University modeled a set of chemical processes to show that if ammonia is indeed present, it would set off a cascade of chemical reactions that would neutralize surrounding droplets of sulfuric acid. If this happened, it would decrease the acidity of the clouds from 11 to 0 on the pH scale. This remains incredibly acidic, or minus 11 to 0 on the pH scale. This remains incredibly acidic, but it would be at a level that life could tolerate. On Earth, there are life forms that produce ammonia to neutralize their challenging environment. We know that life can grow in acid environments on Earth, but nothing as acid as the clouds of Venus were believed to be. But if something is making ammonia in the clouds, then that will neutralize some of the droplets, making them potentially more habitable, said co-author of the study, Dr. William Baines from Cardiff University's School of Physics and Astronomy. And they go on and on and on and on and on. But that would be very interesting if there's something in the clouds of Venus. I would be down with finding shit out about that. I mean, I think the whole Mars thing is a moot point. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to find much of anything there. I think it's a dead planet. I think there may have been something there at one point. If they find anything there, it's going to be very simple celled and very fucking bottom of the barrel shit. Like, it's going to be stuff underneath.
Right.
You know, like in the if they claim there's water there, you know, we'll see, I guess.
I suppose it's a good practice planet while we're still figuring shit out.
Right. Yeah. But the idea that something could be inhabiting the clouds of Venus is super interesting.
Oh yeah, very.
Because for forever, as long as I've known, I've been taught that Venus is an uninhabitable world. Like, it's far too violent. It's crazy. The atmosphere's shit. So to find out that something's actually living there would be cool.
Right. Well, it's fascinating to me just that they've figured out that there is ammonia in the atmosphere. Like, that's wild to me. So,
Well, I'm blown away. Excuse me. That they can figure out by looking at planets from fucking forever away, that as it passes through the sun in its own solar system, they can figure out what the atmosphere contains.
yeah, that's crazy.
Like, that science has figured out shit like that.
Right.
There are people far smarter than us that do shit.
For sure.
From NPR.org. So far, so good for the James Webb Space Telescope after its long-awaited launch. The James Webb Space Telescope is on its way to its final destination, about 1 million miles from Earth. From there, it will make unprecedented observations of the universe. Delight, sheer and utter delight. That was the emotion emanating this morning from the control rooms for the launch and operations of the James Webb Space Telescope. It's the most sophisticated space telescope ever built, and it should revolutionize our understanding of the universe. It lifted off from a European spaceport in French Guiana at 7:20 Eastern Time. There are still many days of nail-biting steps before the telescope is operational, but getting the launch out of the way is a big relief for astronomers all over the world. NPR's Joe Palca has been following today's events and has this report. I know at one point I was talking with Baddorf, and he told me, because he was geeking out about this like super bad, he said there were 200 steps that they had to go through that could fail before the thing's completely operational.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go through this freaking back and forth. It's like fucking reading a goddamn... This is all sound bites of like people talking back and forth. I might as well like hire people to friggin' read this.
Right.
But anyway, they launched this friggin' telescope, which is going to look deeper into space than we've ever looked before. Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah. That kind of stuff hurts my brain.
Just kind of takes over.
Yeah, I'm much too simple for such wild, wild things.
Yeah, like I said, there are people out there that that look into stuff who are far more intelligent than myself, and who have a better understanding of how things work and how people figure out shit. It sometimes it baffles me.
Oh yeah.
Other times I'm
Me
like,
too.
oh, like other times when I look at like designs for shit, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Like, of course that makes sense that it works like
Right.
that. Or yeah, but would I have come to that conclusion by looking at it? Like, so I'm like fascinated by people who can like take an idea and either improve on it or just create something out of nothing, an idea.
Yeah.
And I'm going to strangle my fucking bird, whom I put out in the other room, and that's all I can fucking hear right now. God damn it.
News makes her feisty.
I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm stoked to see what they bring back with this the images that come back from this fucking thing. It's
Yeah, that's an exciting thing to look forward to.
because I can't even remember what was the name of the other one.
Mm.
The other telescope that they had up there that was taking pictures. The Hubble.
I was
The
gonna say
first one.
Hubble, but I thought that sounded too old, so I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna say
Yeah,
it.
Hubble was the one that I was that they first threw up there. I think
Yeah,
that we were all like, "Oh shit!" And it came
right.
back with all those crazy images. But Hubble went through all kinds of problems. Like that thing had a myriad of fucking issues. I
It's
remember.
amazing it made it back.
Yeah, they brought it back.
Uh, well, could even like send the message back, like
Oh
get the
yeah, no,
information back. Like it
yeah,
worked enough.
yeah. That thing, like I said, it had all kinds of problems. I think there was like dust on the lens or some shit. Like they had all kinds of issues with that fucking thing. So I'm very hopeful with the James Webb Telescope though. I think that any new information about the universe we live in is helpful. Well, whether or not it helps us now,
Right.
it it adds to the pool of human knowledge.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and we're
So,
learning a lot fast. We know way more now than we did even just 20, 30 years ago. So,
oh, shit, yeah. Shit, yeah. Um, all right. Let's see. What else do I want to fucking talk about tonight, Katie? I got a few more stories here. I don't know what I got though. Let's find out. From onlyinyourstate.com. The Haunted Ghost Resort in West Virginia that's a paranormal investigator's paradise. Let's face it, the entire state of West Virginia is a paranormal investigator's paradise. Is it? The mountain state's history is filled with tragic deaths, restless spirits, and mysterious sightings. We even once convicted a murderer based on the testimony of a ghost. Really? Interesting. However, only in West Virginia.
right.
However, if you're looking for a good, easily accessible site for paranormal investigation among the plethora of options in West Virginia, the haunted old Sweet Springs Resort on the far eastern edge of the state is a somewhat abandoned ghost resort that's an excellent choice. Jesus Christ, this is one of those horrible stories that puts everything so you can't read it. That's it. That was the whole story.
Wow. Wicked.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of pictures with little captions. Wow. Thanks, only in your state. That was great. So yeah, go check out the haunted ghost resort. Jesus Christ. Oh shit. Get rid of that one. All right, what else do we got here? What else do I got? From thesun.com. Deep dive inside ancient UFO sightings from Bible sky chariot to alien cave paintings that show Pentagon report is nothing new. The earliest records could even be in the form of paintings by our cavemen ancestors, perhaps showing that the UFO sightings now subject to official probes in Washington and Beijing are really nothing new. Earlier this year, a long-awaited Pentagon report admitted experts could not explain some 144 reports of unidentified aerial phenomena. It was slammed as a whitewash by believers, even though top brass said they could not rule out an alien origin for the sightings. Meanwhile, the Chinese government has reportedly launched its own UFO investigation after a rush of excitement there. Military researchers are said to have dubbed them unidentified air conditions, or UACs. China and Russia reportedly hope to take the international lead in studying encounters, sparking a bizarre new arms race with the U.S. But as these examples show, people have been looking up in wonder for thousands of years. Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think that this is anything new.
No.
I think unidentified aerial phenomena has been going on for I'm willing to say forever.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of reports back before there were even flying machines.
Oh, yeah.
Period of things in the sky and sky battles, and so I definitely don't think it's anything new. And what I think is interesting is that you have multiple governments from around the world all taking a solid interest now in it, and not going to complete denial.
Yeah.
They're actually coming out and saying, like, no, this stuff's we don't know, it's legit,
That
and
is
we don't
really
know.
interesting that it's not just America.
Yeah, it's China, it's Russia. It makes me wonder if this is more than just a whitewash or um a diversion.
Right.
That's what makes me wonder. Like, it's if it is, it's very coordinated, and it's coordinated with countries that we're not exactly allied with.
Yeah. That's true.
So I find it kind of interesting. But again, it goes back to that whole we'll see.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting on is what we'll see come of all this.
And our last story of the evening from WBOY.com, going back to West Virginia. How many UFO sightings have there been in West Virginia? UFO sightings are more common than you may think and date back to biblical times, but how many have been seen in West Virginia? In the Bible's book of Ezekiel, a mysterious ship is described as appearing from the sky in Chaldea, modern-day Kuwait. Strange sightings were recorded around Rome in 218 BC. A wave of mysterious apparitions showed up in 4th century China when a moon boat was documented floating over the country once every 12 years. A smattering of other unfamiliar objects in the sky were noted in Germany in 1561, Hull, England in 1801, and multiple times during World War II when Allied pilots used the term Foo Fighters to describe the odd circles of light pilots noticed flanking their planes during combat. The term UFO, short for unidentified flying object, was coined in 1953 by the United States Air Force as a bucket term for unexplained sightings like these. Stateside sightings were hardly restricted to military flyover zones, however. The first recorded UFO sighting dates to 1639, when, long before the era of planes and satellites, John Winthrop wrote in his diary about a large, strange light in the sky that shot back and forth. By the time he and the other men on his boat got their wits about them, their vessel was a mile from where it had been when they first spotted the light. Since its founding in 1974, the National UFO Reporting Center, NUFORC, has documented around 90,000 UFO sightings, with almost 95% of those sightings supposedly easily explained away as military tests, weather balloons, or other terrestrial activity. Using data from NUFORC's 24/7 hotline, which has been around since 1974, Stacker compiled a ranking of the states with the most reported UFO sightings. NUFORC's dataset includes reports dating back to 1400. Almost 3/4 of all UFO sighting reports in the United States occur between 4 p.m. and midnight, and tend to peak between 9 and 10 p.m. That's interesting. Food for thought next time you're out scoping for alien life. Keep that in mind, Katie. So, West Virginia, by the numbers, UFO sightings 621. Are we going to go through fucking all of them? I hope not. Jesus. The Greenback Bank Observatory in Pocahontas County, West Virginia, is a premier location for scientists who make it their work to study extraterrestrial life. Okay, and star mapping, supernovas, and other more generalized scientific research. By documenting energy waves from hundreds of light years away into computers via giant radio telescope, with many signals so faint they're easily drowned out by any ambient noise. These scientists abide by the National Radio Quiet Zone, a code of science that bars normal everyday tech devices so they can conduct their work without interference. The first documented image of a UFO was captured in 1870 on the summit of Mount Washington in New Hampshire. That's interesting. More sightings were reported at Mount Rainier in Washington in 1947, and of course several in Roswell, New Mexico. Since then, countless numbers of unusual shapes in the sky and their supposed inhabitants have been exhaustively reported without sufficient explanations beyond the possible existence of extraterrestrial life. This doesn't tell me much about West Virginia except that it has 621 sightings. I'm just now realizing that about this. This is like just an article to tell us all about UFOs, and that West Virginia has 621 sightings.
They want to make sure you know they're in the game, Chris.
I guess. I mean, I don't fucking know. That seems like such a bait and switch fucking article to me. Like,
Yeah, it was.
Here's a story about UFOs from the beginning. There have been UFOs since biblical times. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I get it. They've been around. People have been seeing them. All right, what have we seen in West Virginia? 621 of them. You want to give us like an instance? Nope. There's just 621 of them. All right. I guess that's cool. I don't know. Anywho. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fucking news for this week. Shit. I did pick up this week, Katie. I check the daily deals for my Kindle every fucking day, like religiously. And Peter Benchley's Jaws was on sale the other morning. And I read this book, and I am not kidding when I say this. I read this book when I was like 7.
Wow.
I went to the library because I could read very, very well at a very early age. And we all picked out books, and I saw Jaws, and I was like, oh, very cool. Like I was always interested in the movie, but my parents wouldn't let me watch it. But they let me read the book, which was fucking flabbergasted me. Because at this age, I opened up this book and started reading it, and that book opens up with a couple on the beach fucking.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, like very graphic, for a 7-year-old
Yeah.
to read. And then she gets eaten by the shark. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the fucking movie or read the book. Yeah, so it's pretty fucking graphic, and I remember reading that as a young child, and now as an adult being like, you fucking parents let you read that shit.
Right. I've got the same situation. I read It when I was 9.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
I literally had to carry a dictionary around with the book to look words up because there's so many words I had never heard before.
Yeah, it was the first book that kept me up at night and gave me nightmares. That was I remember that being the very first book that kept me up at night and gave me nightmares. I was fucking petrified reading that book.
It was a wild ride, that's for sure.
And it's on my list of books to reread.
Yeah.
Because I've just literally been plowing through books. My new job, I let's just say I don't do a lot. Let's just say that I don't do a lot. I do a lot of reading, and that's completely okay with management. So
That's amazing.
I've read. I'm working on my 6th book since I started working there.
Gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I figured it out. I read about on average about 33% of a book a night.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. It depends. But yeah, I've been just plowing right through them. So I'm very hopeful at this point that I'll actually get through my library. There was a point where I was just like, I don't know if I'll get through my entire library.
Right. You had accumulated too much.
I'm like, well, at least I'll always have something to read. But now I'm just like, I don't know if I'll always have something to read.
Right.
Like something new anyway. I could always go back and read old stuff, which I love doing.
Yeah.
Um, I'm back reading a series that I read when I was a kid that got me into reading fantasy series. Like I picked up the Dragonlance when I was, oh God, I was all of like maybe 8 or 9, and I'd been enthralled with it. I'd been enthralled with it like most of my from there through my teenage years into my early adulthood. Um, and I hadn't read any of those books since I was a kid. And going back and reading them all over again. And then the 2 authors went back and wrote another trilogy that coincides with the original trilogy. So it like takes place in between and alongside the other books. And it's wonderfully written. And to read the difference in their writing styles in real time, kind of, because I'm like, I read the original ones first, and then went and read the ones that I hadn't read, the
Right.
newer ones. And it was very cool because they're a lot more graphic. Like there was one scene where, and you never would have read this in a fucking book like this back in the 80s, which was when I got this book, the original books. Like there's a scene in the newer books where like one of the villains like bends a woman over fucking his desk and starts railing her. And you never would have read that before. It
Right.
just wouldn't have fucking been there. But it makes sense in the context of the character to have him do that. Like it was just in that moment, like it wasn't gratuitous, it wasn't just them being foolish. It
Right.
really made sense. And a lot of that type of stuff would have made sense in the original books, not that in particular, but more things of more graphic nature to make you feel like these people are actually evil. Because I've always said that Terry Goodkind, God rest the man's soul, he's passed away now, wrote the best fucking villains in the Sword of Truth series. That motherfucker knew how to write a villain so you hated him. Like you just seethed with hatred over who these people were and what they did to other people. And they were fictional characters.
Right. But they made you
But
feel.
but it gave you a visceral reaction, like ugh, like it made your skin crawl. I remember one of the villains that he had. It was a dude that went around collecting people's nipples.
Jesus.
They cut people's nipples off.
The fuck?
And oh yeah, it was fucking weird. Like such great evil, tortured, horrible characters. You know, just But there's one scene in one of the books where he wrote these women getting raped by a demon, but they were allowing it. And it was fucking atrocious to read.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
mean,
like it.
just yeah, because like I said, he had a way. He had a fucking way of writing really horrible stuff to make you feel what he wanted you to feel. And yeah, Yeah, those books are great. But anyway, on that fucking note, hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know I did. It was nice and quiet. I'm actually not really doing much of anything for my Christmas until this week. So not seeing any of my family or anything until this week. So that'll be good. And we won't be seeing you until next week. So Happy New Year to everybody. Don't make any fucking resolutions. Don't do that shit to yourself. It's not worth it. You want to make a change in your life, just do it today. Do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Just do it today. Don't set it for fucking New Year's. Just fucking make your change. Do your thing. But I wish everybody the best. Happy New Year. Let's hope 2022 is a little better, but I'm not having much hope. And until next time, see ya.